It is Mr. Husk. Mr. Husk will be presenting the next learner profile award, and we'll invite the student up. So, if I could have Roman come up. I'm very pleased to present the award to Thinker, to Roman. I know he received this award previously, and I had to think about if he's getting the same award, what more can I say? I can talk about how Roman values reason. He values precise thinking. He values articulating his thoughts very, very well. I can talk about that, but I think a lot of us for this award were, of course, Roman's getting this. We have a lot of thinkers, a lot of students that exemplify this part of the learner profile at our school, and I'll talk about some of them in just a moment, actually. But I also thought about the fact that I've never actually had the chance to work with Roman out of school. I nearly did back in middle school, when he proposed an activity which would be a discussion group in political philosophy. And somehow I was approached to be the faculty advisor on that group. I thought about it, I made some suggestions. I thought, well, what if we proposed making this broader on big ideas in general, maybe philosophy in general? Cover French existentialism one week or feminist theory another week, and Roman said very politely, I don't think that's a good idea. and I realized he considered what I had proposed, he thought about it, and he had his response. And I thought, well, he's not interested in my namby-pamby, artsy-fartsy interests, which I realized later is not true at all. I haven't been able to be a teacher in any of his classrooms, but I spent a long time sitting in the back of classrooms working almost quietly and observing Roman and a number of other students just engage in all kinds of fascinating discussions. And recently, I attended one of the symposiums that the school is running. Mr. Maldonado organizes that, I believe. And Roman was there. I assume he goes to many of these. I sat in a room of thinkers. It felt to me every one of those students could be considered for this particular award. And I thought about, well, what does this mean, being a thinker? We tend to focus on reason to the exclusion of other kinds of thought. And I started thinking about our TOK class, the Theory of Knowledge class, because in that class we differentiate between lots of kinds of knowledge, and knowledge is arguably the fruit, the flower that comes from thought, at least in part. And we differentiate between shared knowledge and personal knowledge. And the fact that one often becomes the other, and one sometimes sparks the other. And in that symposium, I saw a thinking in a different place than where we usually consider it to be. We think of thinking as being up here. And yes, arguably it is. But thinking there was somewhere out here. And the way Roman engaged with all of these other thoughtful students, the way the ideas shaped, informed, and shifted through this dialogue, that was impressive to me. And that was the moment at which I thought, here's here's an appropriate student for winning this particular award. And I'm very proud to present it. Ramon, would like to speak?
Behind us lies complexity. In front of us lies complexity. Within us lies complexity. But it lies dormant. And to any and all, these certificates should be meaningless if they do not console, if they do not feel, nay, if they do not breathe that we are servants of complexity, or better yet, its masters.